Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has passed away. The legendary Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is no more. He's passed away at the age of 62. He's known to be India's Warren Buffett. He breathes his last. The big bull of the last street dies in Mumbai. The billionaire was the promoter of Akasa Air, an ardent believer in the India story. He pledged India ka time aayega. Jhunjhunwala had multiple health issues, declared death at Breach Candy Hospital this morning. And Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, the man with the Midas touch, he's known to be the big bull of the Lal Street, Warren Buffett of India. He is sadly passed away. He is no more. That is the latest grim news coming in this morning.
हम सबके लिए बहुत ही दुखद समाचार है और मैं समझता हूँ राकेश जी को भी सही श्रद्धांजलि यही होगी कि देश हो या बाजार हो वो आगे अच्छी तरीके से बढ़ता रहे, चलता रहे, अपना काम करता रहे, परंतु उनकी कमी जरूर महसूस होगी। ये क्षति बहुत बड़ी है, बाजारों के लिए भी, आर्थिक संस्थाओं के लिए भी।
Siddharth Zarabi, the managing editor of BTTV, now joins us. Ashish of Business Today also joins us on this broadcast. I want to first begin with Siddharth. Very grim news. The entire world of business has woken up to. He was only 62. He was touted to be the man with the Midas touch, and what a genius passes away at 62. How do you remember him?
Well, I would like to begin, Chaiti, by offering condolences to his family, his spouse and partner who stood behind him like a rock, Rekha, his other family members, including his cousin Amitabh Jhunjhunwala, and the millions of admirers for whom he represented the great Indian opportunity. You know, I don't know how many people think about it. Why was he called the big bull, or like as you put it, India's Warren Buffett? Because he represents the India opportunity, the scope and possibilities that entrepreneurship have given to people in India. A person who came from a bureaucrat's family, a middle class family, starting out with just 5,000 rupees, and today a net worth of upwards of $5 billion, all in an arc of around 37 years or thereabout in the stock market. So in these 4 decades, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala had seen everything that was right and wrong with India's economy and growth story, because the markets are fundamentally interlinked with the economy. They have tracked India's growth. They have tracked even the pitfalls. They reflect the mood and sentiment. The Sensex and the Nifty, Chaiti, as you yourself would know, are perhaps the barometers of the potential and possibility of India's economy. And that's why Rakesh Jhunjhunwala was someone who youth looked up to. I remember hosting him at a very, very crowded Ask RJ session, a sort of masterclass on equities a few years back. The hall was jam-packed. This was the Bombay Stock Exchange auditorium. And with me was my colleague Abha, and I remember people just didn't take his autographs. People were there asking for him to bless their children and say, इसने अभी कॉमर्स पढ़ा है, आशीर्वाद दे दीजिए, कहता है नौकरी नहीं करूंगा, market में लगाऊंगा. And while there are many stereotypes and those cliches about the market and some of the negatives, what Rakesh Jhunjhunwala taught a lot of people was that you could be a good stock picker and picking the right stocks, and that reflects in his own portfolio that he has maintained, of which he himself admitted that there were times when he had
I do remember that the Lal Street used to always watch out for the stock that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has ended up picking. I mean, that was the power of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala.
Absolutely. And one quick point that I also want to speak about as I hand it back to you, Chaiti, is that while there is a greed and fear index with respect to the markets, he made 2 things very, very clear, and he would say this every time in different words, in his own sort of style. He was in some ways very outspoken as well. There were 2 things he said. He said, getting 20% returns is the best that you can expect. So he used to tell people, don't get greedy, because this is one more sort of misnomer, and a lot of people get into the markets thinking, raat mein double kar denge. And he would always say, don't believe in that. And the second was patience. He would always say, the markets and investing, not just in equity, you could take that broadly across the personal finance, the save, invest, prosper kind of theme that we ourselves talk about so often. He would always say, patience is the biggest virtue for any sort of investment.